Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new video here on the channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about something a little fun. This is of course a video on how to trigger or at least make Ninjago fans, not so happy, not so thrilled. Obviously this video is going to be based on the Ninjago community, and the Ninjago community is like several other communities out there. Literally every fandom has this happen. Every fandom has some type of drama or some type of, I guess, bad egg in there, if you will. And of course there have been some decisions made by the show throughout the entire lifespan of Ninjago that have certainly caused a little bit of controversy. We're going to be taking a look at various things about the show that Ninjago fans like to argue about. How exactly can you trigger someone in the Ninjago community? Let's go ahead and talk about it. But before we get into that, this video is not supposed to be a serious one. It's just kind of like a satirical look at the Ninjago community. Obviously this is just for fun, so please don't get too legitimately upset in the comment section. This video is not meant to be super serious, it's just meant for fun. So I have a list of 9 things here that we're going to be going through, and I figured I would start with this one because it's quite obvious. Number 1, say anything remotely positive about WildBrain Studios. WildBrain Studios is obviously the current animator of Ninjago. They basically run the Ninjago show, they produce it, they make it, and obviously it hasn't been that way forever. For those of you guys that don't know, the original animation studio behind Ninjago was WilFilm, and obviously that changed following March of the Oni. Starting with season 11, Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, WildBrain took over, and it was a very controversial decision at the time. I still remember back when season 11 was coming out, a lot of Ninjago fans just straight up lost their minds and didn't really know what to expect, and obviously WildBrain Studios got heat for a lot of that. I don't think they were called WildBrain at the time. I think they were called something else like DHX Media or something like that, but nowadays we refer to them as WildBrain Studios because that's what they are, that's what their name is. And yeah, saying anything remotely positive about WildBrain is sure to ruffle the feathers of some very specific Ninjago fans in the comments section. Number 2, supporting any ship ever. Shipping is a very big no-no in pretty much every community. You can't really go right with this. It's very common for fan bases to argue about ships. In the Ninjago community, if you support any ship, guaranteed somebody will get mad. For example, one of my favorite ships is Jay and Cole. You know, Bruise, I like them together. I think they look really good together. Obviously, I know it's probably not going to happen within the context of the show, but even me just saying that I enjoy that ship, I'm sure some folks in the comment section are going to be not so thrilled. Even when you support ships that are actually canonical to the TV series, like Kai and Skylar or Jay and Nia, people will still get mad at those, surprisingly enough. People enjoy pushing their headcanon onto the actual Ninjago show, and like I said, even though I do support ships that are not technically canon, I can understand that these ships are not going to be canon and move on with my day. I can say that I enjoy the ship as it is, but I recognize that it's probably not going to be canon within the context of the show, and guess what? That's okay. Number 3, talking about anything else that's not Ninjago related, especially if you have a Ninjago YouTube channel. If you talk about anything else that's not Ninjago related, chances are you're going to get some negative comments, especially for somebody like myself who runs a Ninjago YouTube channel. This is especially true for things like Twitter and Instagram. It's basically Ninjago or nothing. You're not allowed to post about anything else, not even other LEGO themes. I mean, look at this video that I recently made. Look at the dislikes on that. It's not a Ninjago video, and as such, I feel like some people disliked it for that reason, though I am quite positive that this video got dislikes for another reason that we're not going to get into here. But regardless, you guys get the idea. Ninjago or nothing, basically. I understand that some people are diehard Ninjago fans who definitely devote their life to Ninjago and nothing else, but not everybody's going to be like that. But like I said, I've seen legitimate arguments start in this community over someone saying that, oh, this show's better than Ninjago, or Ninjago's not as good as this show. So yeah, be careful if you're going to be talking about other things besides Ninjago. It's probably not going to go over super well in a lot of cases. Number 4, and this is especially true for Ninjago YouTubers, making a video even remotely close to any other Ninjago YouTuber is automatically bad. Obviously in the Ninjago community, you guys know, if somebody makes a video idea first, they own that idea. Nobody else can use that idea at all, or else they're stealing that idea. Obviously I'm not being serious. You can make whatever video you want. But I have gotten legitimate complaints about that before, and I've seen people complain about other YouTubers allegedly stealing my ideas. Nobody owns an idea here, especially for something like a top 10 list or like a theory video or whatever. A lot of people think the same, and some theories are going to be commonplace throughout the community, but if you make a video that somebody else has unfortunately made before you, well, guess what? You're stealing that idea, and that's just how it is for a lot of people by default. I don't believe in that, obviously. I feel like you can go ahead and make whatever video you want to make. Nobody owns ideas in this community, essentially. You can basically do whatever you want, whatever video you want, but yeah, I have seen arguments start over things like that. So if you wanted a good way to trigger a Ninjago fan, make a video that may or may not use the same idea from another YouTube channel, or just accuse somebody of stealing somebody else's ideas. That's a good good way to get an argument rolling. Number 5, saying anything remotely negative about WilFilm. Like we previously mentioned in this video, WildBrain Studios is the current animator behind the Ninjago show, but WilFilm came before, and without WilFilm we wouldn't really have the Ninjago that we know and love today. Obviously with WilFilm though, they stopped animating Ninjago after season 10, so they're not around anymore. There are definitely people that prefer WildBrain's animation style over WilFilm's, but if you say anything remotely negative about WilFilm, even though some aspects of WilFilm's animation could definitely be improved, such as, stiffness of the characters, using the same character over and over again in background shots, which has happened a lot in WilFilm animation for Ninjago. If you say anything remotely negative about WilFilm, well, guess what? You're not a true Ninjago fan. Obviously, with that being said, both animation studios did a fantastic job with the Ninjago that they were working on. I feel like WilFilm does some things that WildBrain doesn't do, and I feel like WildBrain does some things that WilFilm could never do. I feel like both studios have their perks and both studios have their weaknesses, sure, but they're both contributing to the overall series of Ninjago. As such, I respect both studios. Do I prefer one over the other? Not really. Like I said, there are aspects of each that I prefer over certain aspects of the other, but I don't hate one studio, I don't love another studio, but if you say anything negative about either, guaranteed you are definitely going to start an argument, especially when it comes to WilFilm, which is essentially the holy grail of animation studios according to some very devoted Ninjago fans. Number 6, say that you like the Ninjago movie. The Ninjago movie, when it came out in 2017, like it or not, it definitely split the Ninjago community a lot more than literally anything else from this franchise. The movie divided the fan base like no other. I personally really enjoyed the Ninjago movie, even though it didn't really take a lot of cues from the TV show. It definitely tried to do what it could with the characters and the material that it was given. It was never going to be an adaptation of the TV show, it was always going to be its own thing. And I still feel like it's one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen. According to a lot of Ninjago fans though, the Ninjago movie just doesn't exist. I know of a lot of Ninjago YouTubers even that have never seen this movie, and that's quite interesting to me. But going back to the main point, a lot of people really don't like this movie, and obviously that's okay. If you don't like the movie, that's totally a-okay. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but I feel like it's a really good movie. I feel like it's really enjoyable for the most part. As a Ninjago fan, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I can understand why it might not be everybody's cup of tea. However, if you say you like the Ninjago movie, you're probably going to get hit with a lot of comments that say, oh, you have no taste, or, oh, it's not that good, it's not even the best Lego movie. And yeah, it might not be the best Lego movie, but I still found enjoyment in it, and that's basically all that anyone can do. Obviously, Ninjago fans are not going to like everything with the Ninjago label on it, and that's okay. Everybody can have their own opinion, but we'll get to that later on. Either way, the Lego Ninjago movie is very much something that Ninjago fans are kind of split on. In this community, you either like it or you hate it, and that's basically all there is to say about the Ninjago movie. Number 7, saying that the older designs aren't all that good. Kind of continuing with the Ninjago movie for a second, the movie was also very controversial for contributing to the ninjas redesigns. Obviously, you guys would know in between season 7 and 8, something happened in the Ninjago show that caused the ninja to change designs. When Sons of Garmadon first kicked off, the ninja looked very similar to their Ninjago movie designs, if not completely identical. Basically compliment the new designs and trash on the older ones. That's essentially a good way to start an argument here. The older designs are of course classic for the Ninjago characters and I love them very much, but the newer designs in my opinion are just so much better, dare I say. They are a lot more unique and a lot more individual to each character, and I can totally see why the Ninjago movie chose to redesign some of these characters and why the show in turn adopted those new designs. I'm not saying that I hate the older designs, don't get me wrong, but a good way to start an argument in the Ninjago community is to definitely trash on those older designs. A lot of very devoted Ninjago fans absolutely hate newer Ninjago and don't like it at all, and have since left the fan base and gone on to do other things, and that's totally okay too. But obviously there have been several discussions and several arguments over the old designs versus the new designs. If you're like me, you find positives and negatives about both sets of designs. Number 8, saying anything remotely negative about Nia. This is especially a new one after Seabound's ending, where Nia basically left the ninja team and went on to do her own thing. If you say that Nia's not coming back after Seabound, you're definitely going to ruffle the feathers of some very specific Nia fans, and that's okay. Everybody has their own opinions on Nia. I know a lot of people that don't like Nia, but I know equally as many people that absolutely adore Nia's character. With that being said though, I personally feel like Nia's departure at the end of Seabound should be very impactful, so I feel like she shouldn't come back right away, and the series should probably wait a little bit before trying to bring her back, and obviously that's just my opinion on it, but believe it or not, that opinion of mine has led to some people claiming that I'm a Nia hater and that I don't like Nia, and that's just not the case at all. She used to be my least favorite ninja for sure. Now I'd say Kai's probably my least favorite, but I don't hate Nia, I don't hate any of the ninja. I just feel like her sacrifice needs to mean something, and if they bring her back immediately, I don't think it's going to mean all that much. I don't want a repeat of Zane's sacrifice from season 3. I want it to actually mean means something, and hopefully this time they're going to be going that route. Obviously that's just my opinion, but saying anything remotely negative about Nia is going to land you in some hot water, quite literally. So do keep that in mind if you're going to be criticizing any Ninjago characters. You might want to stay clear of Nia, because that's probably not going to go well for you. And finally, number 9, the best way to trigger any Ninjago fan ever is to have an opposing opinion, or just having an opinion in general. Like every fan base that has ever existed, the Ninjago community is no stranger to arguing over opinions, and obviously that's been the case for many, many years. As soon as a new season comes out, there are going to be people that love it, and some people that really don't like what they're doing with the show, and that's totally okay. Whatever opinion you have is going to be totally okay, as long as it's your own and you're not attacking anybody else for it. But unfortunately, there have been several arguments that I've seen throughout this community over varying opinions, and it eventually just leads to a downward spiral of arguments and name calling and yada yada, all that kind of good stuff. It just creates chaos if you have an opposing opinion. I feel like if you have an opinion on the show, or basically anything in the Ninjago scene, you have the right to say something. But regardless, no matter what people say, there's going to be somebody that thinks opposite of you and is willing to go to war over it. So for the 9th and final thing that triggers Ninjago fans, it's having an opinion, especially an opposing one, to whoever you may or may not be arguing with. And with that being said, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up. We went through 9 things that you can do to trigger Ninjago fans. If you want my advice as to how to have a conversation in the Ninjago community without upsetting anybody, try to make your opinion as respectable as possible. Try to explain your point of view, and try to make it as civil as humanly possible as well. That's basically the best advice that I can give you guys if you're looking to get into the Ninjago community a little bit more. Fair warning though, like I said, literally everything on this list I have seen arguments over, so do keep that in mind as you proceed throughout the Ninjago community. Welcome aboard, glad to have you. Thank you so much for checking out this video, you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Like I said, nothing too remotely serious, but it was a lot of fun to put this video together anyway. Feel free to leave a comment talking about what you think about the video, and what do you think about these points here? Have you seen any arguments erupt over things like this? Why or why not? And leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.